Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of my addiction to cocaine story. We left off, I am Laura and I am an addict. We left off, I believe, in the last video where I had said that I used pretty steadily from the year 2001 to 2004 when I stopped completely. That would have been March 4th of 2004. And really, it was from September of 2001 until, let's see, August of 2003, I still was able to use and walk away. I was binging a lot more, but I could still put it down and walk away from it. So, in my messed up mindset, I was thinking, I can handle this. I don't have a problem. I mean, I'm a teacher, for gosh sake, you know. And once I started teaching, I had put it down altogether. And because, despite the fact of my addiction, I really didn't think I was addicted to it because I could always put it down and walk away. And, being a teacher meant everything to me. I absolutely loved being a teacher. And so, I had something that took its place. And what happened is in May of 2003, a friend of mine flew down from New York, and I hadn't used any crack cocaine at all, any substance of anything, for nearly a year. And she flew down from New York to visit with me, and she was on the ground off the plane maybe an hour before we went out and got some coke, some crack, and started using. And for the next week, we went on a huge binge. We smoked probably $5,000-6,000 worth of cocaine. And then I went home, because I had lied to my spouse at the time and told them I was at a seminar for school. And anyway, I went home with my, tail, I guess, tucked between my legs, you could say, and made up some crazy story about where all my paycheck had went, and just kind of went on from there. And I had met some people when she had flown down that were an extremely good hookup, not what I was accustomed to. And after she had flown back home, I went by this place every day on my way to work. I mean, because the school I taught in was absolutely an inner city school. So I drove through this section of town every day that I went to work. And maybe a week or two later, I was on my way home from work, and my vehicle just veered right off down that street. I knocked on the door. I bought $300 worth of crack. And from there, the freight train to the end began. And I can honestly tell you that I did not see a clean day at all until nearly the end of the summer of 2003. And I mean, by this point, I hated this stuff. I had relocated back up to New York. I resigned from my teaching position. I relocated. I was living in North Carolina at the time. I relocated back up to New York, where I'm from, and moved back into my house up there. And I was going to put my act together again, I guess you could say. And so I put it down probably for 90 days. It was right after Christmas that I picked back up. Actually, it was, this is terrible to say, but I picked back up on the anniversary night of my sponsor in the program after the meeting. And so it just was, I don't know what triggered it. I just came home from that meeting, placed the call, got the stuff, and then I was on a roll. And until March 4th. And honest to God, what happened was I was hanging around with some pretty seedy people, like you do when you're living that lifestyle. And this girl, Janice, and I were running together, and it was a Sunday night. I had been up for probably 7 days straight. I was to the point, that Sunday morning, I remember looking at her and I said to her, I hate this stuff. I hate it. I hate it. I'm never going to be able to stop using it. And I found myself on all fours looking for a piece of crack that I was absolutely positive that I must have dropped, which never happens. Well, it might happen, but it's seldom. And they call that crumbing. And so that's what I was doing. And at the same time, I had placed a call to my pastor at the time, and he wanted to meet with me at 5 o'clock at the church. And at 5 o'clock, I was in Schenectady picking up more crack. And my cell phone was getting blown up by him, and something guided me to that church rather than going straight back to the house to use the crack. Now, mind you, when I walked into this church, it was just a small little white church that sat on a hill. Not much fancy about it. When I walked into the church, my lips were chapped from being, well, they weren't chapped, they were burnt from smoking so much crack off of the crack pipe. I was in my pajamas. And I remember Pastor Jordy asking me if he could just pray over me before I left. And of course I said yes, because I've always had a strong spiritual belief. And when he was praying over me, I honestly felt like he was trying to deliver me from the gates of hell. And he finished praying over me. I went back and hooked up with my friend Janice, and I'm still thinking I'm going to go to work the next morning. It was a Sunday night, and she's telling me, you just need to calm down. And she pulled a pill bottle out of her purse, and it was full. And she said, here, take a couple of these. They'll make you calm down. And I'm not a pill person. I never have been. I didn't know what they were. But after I took a couple of them, I did calm down. But I was sitting there rambling to myself. I'm never going to be done with this. I'm never going to be done. I'm never going to be able to stop. This just would not stop running through my mind. I was absolutely convinced that I could not stop using crack cocaine. And in one fell swoop, I picked up that bottle and swallowed the entire thing. And in the middle of the night, my grandmother received a phone call. Now, I lived in the same house as my grandmother. We had an apartment, apartments right next to each other. That's how we had bought the house. My grandmother received a phone call from a really good friend of mine that said she was awoken and had a bad feeling that I was in trouble and that perhaps she should go check on me. So my grandmother came over and checked on me, and she found me, of course, non-responsive, and sorry about that blackout. I don't know why that just happened. She found me, of course, non-responsive, and off we went, to the ER. And from there, I was not sent to another rehabilitation unit because at this point, I got honest about everything. I don't know. I told the doctor, my primary physician, what was going on, how much cocaine I was using, and she told me I needed to go to a psychiatric hospital, and I was totally against this. I was like, no way am I going to a psychiatric hospital, because a friend of mine had been in one of them, and when I had seen her in there, I saw what this place was like, and it absolutely terrified me. And my doctor just kept talking to me, telling me it was a nice place, it wasn't like that, and she had been my physician for a long time, so I trusted her, and I went, and hence I was there 42 days, and just being in there was a journey in and of itself, and that was the last time that I was finished with crack. Then I was actually scared when they came in my room and told me that it was time for me to go home in a couple of days. When I first got there, I saw people coming and going pretty quickly, and I wondered why I wasn't. But then I just, I just stayed there and did what they told me to do. And for the first time in my life, I felt better. I felt like I could maybe have a chance at doing this. And I walked out of there, I wouldn't say a free person yet, because a lot still plagued me. But it was at that time that I purposely, very purposely, grabbed onto everything that I had ever learned in my previous years of being in the program, of being mentored by my mentor, of reading, of remembering what I had read through all my books, and applying this stuff. And it was a journey emerging into my new self, and it continues to be a journey, but it's an awesome one. And I'm going to end here because I see we're already at 13 minutes and it's kind of long. But come on back to my blog and read the rest of my story. I look forward to interacting with everybody. And please, if you have heard something of value in my videos, please share it. It's my intent, it's my passion to get this message out to as many people as I can, because as I said in my last video, I've only told you the quick version of this story, and it's my intent, my passion to reach as many people as I can with this message, to show them that if I can find my way to hope and freedom, anyone can. Okay, thanks, have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you over at my blog.